Tama ako. Ito na ako. Tapos ito yung Sir, doon na po tayo. Start na tayo.
Patay na si Loma Season. Patay na.
Totoo na yan, ha? Totoo na yan. Yoma.
1939 yun eh. 15 plus 22.
Kaya, ito.
Hello. Good morning.
Lagyan mo na ng coffee si, para tayo magsimula, si Director General.
I will let him touch his breakfast.
Sila yung work, kaya parang pansin.
That's right. That's my one.
Ano yun? Hindi. Ito, wala yata ito. Wala yan. Ilagay nila doon sa taas. Ito, meron sa taas na. Lipat yung ano. Nasusunod.
Okay.
Ito. Oh, sorry.
Okay natin muna maayos ang TV para hindi tayo mag-uulit ng tanong kasi hindi marirecord eh.
Okay na lang mga bros, ganito to.
Ready na kayo?
Wait lang po.
Okay na?
Saan ba ang matino? Okay.
Okay, we're all set. I would like to welcome all of you to our regular Saturday News Forum. Typhoon scenario with my co-moderator Ariel Ayala and Obal Pradejas. Our guest for today is maybe called the man of the hour because he heads the National Economic Development Authority as Director General, and he's also the Socio-Economic Planning Secretary of the Marcos administration. Siguro, everyone would be interested in the economic situation at present. Siguro we can tackle this in two ways, ano? From the general to the particular, or the particular to the general. Ano yung preference?
Umpisa, sabi natin Secretary, para hindi sumabog ang ating discussion, sa pinirmahan kahapon, budget. Ano po yung, yung budget? Ano yung epekto ng budget para sa ekonomiya natin sa susunod na taon bago tayo papasok sa ibang detalye?
Yeah, well, I can talk briefly about the budget, but I have to say this three. Especially at the approval of the development plan. Participants of the Saturday forum, good morning. Yesterday, the President, together with the members of the National Economic and Development Authority Board, and the whole Cabinet, met to discuss and act on two critical items: the approval of the Philippine Development Plan 2023 to 2028, and the endorsement of the President of Executive Order 171, which temporarily reduces tariff rates on wheat, or swine meat, corn, rice, and coal. The NEDA board, chaired by the President, has approved the proposed Philippine Development Plan 2023 to 2028 and has instructed the NEDA to proceed with its finalization. As the country's development roadmap, the PDP elaborates on the strategies that shall guide the country's economic and social policies and programs, including legislative priorities for the next 6 years. It also contains annual sectoral targets, which we will monitor to ensure proper plan implementation. To recall, some of these socio-economic targets include: 1. Annual GDP growth of 6 to 7% in 2023 and 6.5 to 8% from 2024 to 2028. Headline inflation and food inflation of 2.5 to 4.5% in 2023 and 2.0 to 4.0 from 2024 to 2028. Reduction of unemployment to 4 to 5% in 2028 from an average of 5.4% in 2022, while increasing the share of wage and salaried workers in private establishments from 49.6% on average in 2022 to 53 to 55% in 2028. National government debt stock to GDP ratio reduced to 48% or 48% in 2028 from 63.7% in 2022. And poverty incidence reduced from 18.1% in 2021 to a single-digit level of 8.8 to 9% in 2028. Okay. Through a whole of government and whole of society approach, the NEDA, together with other government agencies and stakeholders, has ensured that the plan is anchored to the ambition natin 2040, the country's long-term vision, with the 8-point socio-economic agenda of the Marcos administration serving as the unifying framework for the next 6 years. Ready for implementation, the plan aims to transform our production and social sectors and create an enabling environment or landscape through our institutions and environment. These strategies will facilitate this transformation. These strategies include: 1, digitalization of government processes and public services; 2, improving the local and global connectivity of our markets and integration of leading and lagging regions; 3, diversification or building ICT, creatives, tourism, and logistics ecosystems around manufacturing clusters; 4, building a dynamic innovation ecosystem; 5, harnessing the private sector's resources, technologies, and potential for scale economies through public-private partnerships; and 6, ensuring the effective devolution of critical social services to local governments. We shall deliver the final version of the PDP 2023-2028 by the end of this year. It will be available online and officially launched to the public in January 2023. Our economy remains robust, supported by strong domestic demand and an upbeat labor market. Recall that our third quarter GDP growth was 7.6%, while the unemployment rate fell to 4.5% in October 2022. However, the Marcos administration remains vigilant over the consequences of global headwinds as we head into the new year. Persistent inflation, recorded at 8% in November 2022, remains a challenge because of the adverse effects on the purchasing power of households, especially the poor. The key to tempering these effects is to ensure food security in the short and the long term through timely importation and addressing long-standing supply side constraints in agriculture value chains. In this regard, Executive Order Number 171, or the proposed extension of the reduced tariffs on the subject commodities of meat, of swine, corn, rice, and coal, was also approved by the NEDA board yesterday. The approved extension of the EO will provide relief to poor and vulnerable segments of the Filipino population whose welfare is reduced because of high inflation. Through this policy, we shall augment our domestic food supplies, diversify our sources of food staples, and temper inflationary pressures rising from supply constraints and rising international prices of production inputs due to external conflict. The extension of the tariff reduction for pork, corn, and rice is up to 31 December of 2023, while that for coal goes beyond this date and will be subject to review every semester. Amid the subdued global economic outlook in 2023, we anticipate favorable economic conditions for the Philippines in the near term. These include expected reopening of China's economy, moderating global oil prices, easing of aggressive monetary policy tightening, and sustained remittance inflows. We are determined to steer the Philippine economy to meet the 6.0 to 7.0% economic growth target for 2023, as set by the NEDA Board's Development Budget Coordination Committee, or DBCC. With the government strategies and interventions outlined in the PDP just approved, we are confident our socio-economic targets are achievable. To address the constraints to growth and inclusion identified by the PDP, we will need to ramp up investment. In the past 6 months, the Marcos administration has worked hard to address the private sector's concerns through key policy and regulatory reforms and securing commitments from domestic and international investors, especially in critical infrastructure, which has long been identified as a significant binding constraint to growth. With the implementation of the amended economic liberalization laws and the policy trust for public-private partnerships, we can expect to generate more quality jobs that will help us achieve inclusive growth, that is, growth is sustainability and rapidly reduces poverty. Investment in key infrastructure or key infrastructure projects will be supported by innovative finance with sufficient governance safeguards to ensure fund sustainability and responsible management. The proposed Maharlika Investment Fund will help support our country's infrastructure development. This support includes investment in logistics and transportation networks, critical supply chains, especially for the agriculture and manufacturing sectors. With the Marcos administration's economic team members, I reiterate my strong support for creating Maharlika Investment Fund as a complementary vehicle to help us attain the objective of rapid but inclusive and sustainable economic development. Such an objective underpins the Philippine Development Plan 2023 to 2028 and the ambition natin in 2040. We commit to working with our legislature to put in place the necessary features of and conditions for a successful sovereign investment fund that will best serve the interests of the Filipino people. I remain confident of the country's solid economic position. The economic team is steadfast in our commitment to sustain our hard-won gains as a country. This trust entails not just continuity of reforms, but the progressive achievements of our development ambitions as our nation reaches greater heights. We will continue to shepherd our country to full recovery and inclusive economic and social transformation. Thank you. I look forward to answering your questions.
Secretary, would you make that presentation available to media? Okay. So, don't worry. Siguro, kung provide kayo ng details sa kanyang presentation. Send namin po facts and figures na hindi na kahit agad. Anyway, we can open the floor to questions.
Lang ako kasi binanggit din yung manufacturing and agriculture. Essentially, yan ang Achilles ng ating ekonomiya. We have the most expensive agricultural products in this part of the world. At yung ating manufacturing, imposible mangyari yan. Because we have the most expensive electricity in the whole of Asia. Ano po ang gagawin natin para mapababa, at least ka-level ng Vietnam, yung kuryente, at yung ating agricultural products, ka-level pa lang ng Singapore, na isang butil ng palay, ay walang inaani.
Let me start with the latter one on agriculture. The thrust of the PDP that I mentioned earlier is about raising productivity and developing, enhancing the value chains in agriculture so that the profitability of agriculture will be enhanced. Sad to say, over so many decades, agriculture sector has not been given the attention it deserves. Productivity is stagnated compared to our neighbors in agriculture. The proper attention with respect to investments has not been, and including access to finance, has not been given attention to. So the intention is to modernize agriculture, and we have indicated the different programs and projects priorities in the agricultural sector that plan to raise the level of productivity, to link agriculture with the broader marketplace, not just local but also international, and to enhance the value chain so that these bottlenecks from the farm to the table are reduced, if not substantially eliminated. So there are many problems there, from infrastructure to irrigation to the development of hybrid of seed varieties to poor marketing and possibly also anti-competitive marketing practices. We have so many of those problems in our agriculture. With respect to manufacturing, we know very well that without a vibrant manufacturing sector, we will be so hard up in reducing poverty substantially. What we have learned from our neighbors that when manufacturing develops, you've got a lot of high-quality jobs created that reduces poverty substantially, especially labor, semi-skilled labor from rural areas. Our case is not the experiences in our areas. Where we have an agriculture, we have in our neighbors, usually development proceeds, particularly in terms of output and employment, proceeds from agriculture to manufacturing to services. Our case is so different from our neighbors. We jump from agriculture to services. And very few countries around the world has that kind of feature. The only country that I know in our region is India, that is similar structure. But we do think that we haven't lost that opportunity. We can develop the manufacturing sector, but we have to address the constraints that are well known, so well identified already. One of these is electricity, the high cost of electricity in this country. And what we need there is a lot of investment in power, in energy. What we have is a very tight supply, such that when the economy grows, rapidly, we are constrained to sustain. That growth is threatened by the lack of power. So what is needed really is to enhance the attractiveness of that sector for investment, and we know the problems. Among those are regulatory issues, and the second one that are well identified and that's constraining the growth of our manufacturing is the ease of doing business. To open and to close a business extremely difficult in this country. If you go through the whole processes, ang dami-daming steps yun. Kahit na nalugi ka, ang hirap pang i-close. No? And that's a major problem for our investors. No? And so we really need to simplify a lot of bureaucratic processes. And so the task of the Marcos administration is to digitalize the whole of the bureaucracy so that simple processes like acquiring licenses, paying your taxes did not involve so many steps and meeting physically people in the bureaucracy. So that's the trust. We are ramping up the digitalization. We are talking to potential investors to put more infrastructure.
Sir, lagyan natin ng numero. Ano yung target ng cost ng electricity per kilowatt hour come 2028? Kasi as of now, mahal tayo. Si Mr. Ramon ang nagbebenta 360. Gusto niya maging 6 pesos. Yung avoidance, doon sa geothermal lang sa Bicol, nakita ko sa Western kanina 34 pesos per kilowatt hour ang benta. Anong industrialization yung 34 pesos per kilowatt hour?
The truth of the matter is talagang kulang sa supply. Kulang ang investment. And we also need to enhance the competitiveness of the sector. Nung ako'y nasa PCC ho, Philippine Competition Commission, ang akong chairman doon bago I accepted this post. Ang isang sector na tinitingnan namin is yung possible anti-competitive practices sa energy. No? May karoon kami nilalawans na investigation na, but hindi natapos yan bago ako umalis. But Yeah, but I think the bigger problem as I see it now is the lack of investment in the power sector, in the energy sector. And yeah, there are horrible stories that you hear why it's so difficult to open new plants. Of course, yeah, environmental issues, and nobody wants to put up a plant, for example, anymore, except it is renewable. But there are now opportunities to cost-efficient renewables, and we are ramping up that one. We have finally we have a new issuance by a opinion by the Department of Justice that some of those rules that we have that are discouraging foreign investors to invest in renewables is away, and that could help our
Alam ko lang yan, ano po, elephant in the room yung issue ng environment eh. Maraming naniniwala na kapag nag-renewables, maganda ang kinabukasan. Pero sa numero, ang pinakamahal na kuryente, nagmumula sa renewables. Kasi yung solar power, 2 oras ang nag-ooperate, 3 oras na maghapon.
I think there is a lot of development going on in the renewables. The technology has been progressing rapidly. I think the only constraints now is the life of the battery. So many big firms around the world are investing into developing efficient battery. What the industry leaders are telling us is that it's a matter of years before they really, a few years before they can crack down and come up with a battery that can store, the power, the energy that you harness from the sun.
Sir, uling question ko na lang dyan. Ano bang policy natin? Hihintayin natin na sabi makadiscover ng miraculong baterya?
No.
Na kayang makistore o hihintayin natin yun o gawin natin yung ginawa ng kapitbahay natin, magtayo ng nuclear power plant, huwag pakinggan yung nagrarally laban sa coal. Kasi yun ang pinakang stable supply at pinakang mura.
No, precisely. That's we will need to do the best we can, including, as you know, as you must have read, our president has been talking and going abroad the possible technologies, even nuclear, that can be adaptable suited to our archipelagic country. So we are looking at the appropriate mix of energy supplies, including obviously because of this rapid decline in the cost of solar energy and the likely and the continuing improvement in the battery there. So we need to be out there and ensure that we become a major player. Now, what we are seeing also showing in the plan is that even the development of renewable materials that other countries can need can be produced here. Can be produced here if we can position ourselves early and become a major player in our region. For example, the solar panels can be produced here, that other countries can use. And if we can link our mining resources to the development of these renewables, even better. And that's what we are also trying to do.
May mga questions from media. Siguro we can start with the Maharlika Investment Fund, which is siguro the most controversial or much discussed topic nowadays. May mga questions raised about the amount na dapat ilagay doon ng mga government-owned controlled corporations, tapos yung management ng fund and so on. So far, ano ba yung final version na passed by the House of Representatives tsaka ihaharap sa Senado? Anong tingin niyo doon, Secretary?
I look at the bill passed by the House, and it does address many of the concerns, most of the concern of the stakeholders, particularly on the issue of the governance architecture of the fund, because we've got to have the proper safeguards, we've got to have the proper framework. So that the funds will become a truly effective vehicle for generating funds that can possibly potentially support our economic and social development plans. So I do think that the issues that have been raised have been properly addressed in the funds. The Senate can still improve on it. I believe there's still room for improvement. But as it is, I think that it is the framework is very good from my point of view. I'm not an expert and social welfare fund, as I was mentioned, but given what how I see this fund in relation to our institutions in this country, our governance structure in this country, I believe that the current version of the bill has met those expectations.
Sa nabanggit yung Maharlika Fund, ano po ba yung nakikita yung pinagmumula ng matinding pagtutol? Maaaring maging pagmula ng matinding problema. Yung source ng pera o yung paglalagakan ng pera? Is it the source of money or the investment, supposedly?
I think it's not quite clear. It can be both. I think that when we talk about the governance architecture, it's all about whether you're sourcing your money and your funds and how do you ensure that the funds are going to be to grow in the way you're envisioning it and to use in the way that will maximize the opportunities that are accepted and be deployed for the greater benefit for the benefit of the greater population, particularly for the future generation.
Ay po, bilang chief policy maker ng economic plan sa ating bansa, ibinagit kasi si Congressman Salceda na sa kanyang isip, dapat paglaanan ng pondo ay yung transmission, sabi niya, yung NGCP 47%, ang ROI, ang taon, inaya. Tapos yung dam. Ang tanong ko po sa dito, nasa power industry. May itira mo tayo. Ipinagbabawal ng gobyerno sa mag-invest sa sektor na napaka-crucial sa ating bansa. Paano ito magagamot sa tingin nyo as point of view ng policy maker?
Obviously, our lawmakers, our legislators will know and will have to address if there is such prohibition. I think that's something that they put that in the law, creating the Maharlika Investment Fund.
May questions dito about the Maharlika Fund saka yung Philippine Development Plan. Yung PPP4, sino nag-raise ang question dito? Sige.
Sir, you said earlier that this is the Philippine Development Plan presented before the start of the first full year of the President. Can you walk us through, sir, how the NEDA board was able to do this, to create this, and as well its significance?
Well, as you know, in the State of the Nation address of the President last July, he instructed NEDA to develop NEDA in coordination with the other agencies to develop the Philippine Development Plan 2023 to 2028 and complete that before the year ends. And that we have done, we have discussed this, we presented to the Cabinet, to the President, the almost final version of the plan. And that was approved by the President and the NEDA board. And now it's in its final scrubbing. We'll be uploading that in the internet online before the year ends. And as I said earlier, we'll release the print copy, the hard copy, and launch it to the public in next month. So the process of coming up with a plan was quite involved quite extensive consultation and discussion with not only people in government, but also with private sector, with multilateral agencies, with experts, and ensure that what is reflected in the plan are doable, practical, and implement, and address the constraints and issues that confront our nation. So that's how it's really, the president has put a tight deadline, and we have to deliver. And I must say that since I started looking at this development planning exercises since the 1950s, I don't know any administration that has come up with such a plan that is completed right before the beginning of the beginning year of the implementation of the plan. And it's not like something that was so difficult anyway, because the Marcos administration started day one already with a clear eight-point development of socioeconomic development agenda. And so what we have just done in the plan is to flesh it out in terms of the strategies, the programs, the sectoral targets, the legislative requirements to achieve those targets, and so on. So it's essentially the roadmap has been sketched for us, and we just have to provide all the details that we needed to achieve the objectives.
Secretary, I understand yung NEDA had drawn up something like a long-term plan until 2040, ambition 2040. How does the Philippine Development Plan, I suppose, which will run for 6 years, how is it consistent with the ambition 2040?
It's very much consistent with the ambition 2040. The ambition natin 2040 has this matatag, maginhawa, panatag ng buhay goal for every Filipinos. And that was crafted in 2015. I was then the NEDA in my first term. It was adopted by as a framework for the Philippine Development Plan by the Duterte administration. And so we are very thankful that it is again adopted by this administration, the Marcos administration. And the hope is that the next 4 administrations will continue to adopt it, because that will ensure that that ambition 2040 will be achieved. So we are going there. We need 4 more administrations to get there. So hopefully we'll succeed.
Sige.
Sir, Rodrigo sa PTV4. Additional lang, sir, sa PH development plan. Sir, you said, sir, the implementation of this will be ensure na proper implementation. And sir, can you explain more about the framework for regular monitoring and evaluation, as well as the provision at sa pagre-report po sa Pangulo on how this particular plan is being implemented? Paano yung structure, sir, na we are on track since 2023 to 2028 to plan?
Key result areas, hinihingan.
As I mentioned earlier, the plan indicates very clear, monitorable, measurable indicators or metrics, both for the national, like economic growth, poverty reduction, employment, as well as sectoral, like the transformation of agriculture, the employment, quality employment generated in manufacturing, quality employment generated in services, and so on and so forth. The Philippine Statistical System, together with other agencies involved with generating administrative data, will be deployed to ensure that we have the proper data to see whether what we are targeting or what we are achieving, that is the performance, is meeting the targets. And if it's not meeting the targets, then we have to know why it's not meeting we are not meeting the targets. And if it's because of failure of implementation or insufficient coordination among government agencies, then that will have to be reported to the president and the cabinet, and we will work around that those issues to address those matters.
Spend mo na ako. Haba po.
Anyway, so the monitoring is the frequency of the monitoring to the president and cabinet is annual. So every year we provide the president a report on the performance of our implementation of the Philippine Development Plan.
Arsenio, then from Jerry News Online po. Sir, kasama ba sa Philippine Development Plan yung goal to achieve upper middle income status? And when do you see this to be? Kailan tayo graduate dun sa upper middle income level?
Yeah. Kung hindi lang nag-COVID, dapat 2024 tayo. The data indicated then that we would reach upper middle income status by 2024. But because of the sharp contraction of the economy in 2020 and the depreciation of the peso, sharp depreciation of the peso last year or this year, that entry to the category of countries, upper middle income country, will now be 2025.
Ang target ng NEDA is to achieve a per capita income of $4,256 by 2028. Hindi ba mababa ito compared sa...
No, that's for 2025 because at that level of per capita income, that's when you hit the threshold of joining the upper middle income country. 2025 yan.
Follow-up question lang po. Igay sa Radio Pilipinas. Paano po malalaman na o mararamdaman na successful o nararamdaman ng normal na tao etong PH development plan magkakaroon ba ng mas maraming trabaho, mas mababa yung presyo ng bilhin?
Precisely, and the data that we will gather will represent the entire population. Data, ano nang nangyayari sa poverty, ano nang nangyayari sa prices, ano nang nangyayari sa jobs. And here, what we are emphasizing in the PDP is not just jobs, no? Kasi kung titignan mo yung data natin, unemployment natin, napakababa na. Parang comparable sa developed countries. But actually, the real problem is the quality of jobs. We want jobs for our people that can earn them enough, resources to maintain a decent life. So yun yan. And the quality of jobs, this points out to the manufacturing, because manufacturing is a very good creator of quality jobs, particularly including semi-skilled. Yung mga hindi nakatapos ng college, so lang, pwede na yun. Pero that's where we have failed in the games. No? But I do think that with our edge now in IT, in EPOs, we can harness those ones to develop a new form of manufacturing that will involve this and that services.
Follow ko lang yung question niya. Nakikinig sa Pilipino. Kasi mostly dito, mascom ang kurso. Kaya nag-mascom, takot sa math. Pag yung economic growth ang pinag-uusapan, numero yan eh. Sir, I remember si wartime President ng Amerika, FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Ang sinabi niyang bata yan at pangako niya sa mamamayan, pagkatapos ng una kong 4 na taon ng presidency, may fried chicken sa bawat lamesa, may gata sa pantry, at may kotse sa garahe. Ano yung ganong batayan na at least nag-intindihan ng mga Pilipino na pwede nyo ipangako kung magtatagumpay ang Pilipino?
Doon sa ambition natin 2040, ganun na ho ang kasi doon, nung nag-survey kami nationwide, across all sections of our society, what we found out is very simple lang yung mga what our Filipinos, our common our countrymen need, that are very achievable. Like each one of them wants to just have a decent house. Each one of them just want to have their children come to college. Each one of them just want to have a vehicle so that they can go places. And they're not even asking for a padero or anything. Just decent beggar. So and also an environment where they can enjoy community life. And when we
Parang
translate,
may ano pa rin travel abroad.
so when we translate those into numbers, no, and even wages and incomes, families must have, very achievable, and that's how we come to that number 2040. Because if we grow at this rate, and if we improve the quality of employment, if we modernize the sectors that should have been modernized and grow at this rate, ma-achieve yung 2040. And by the way, that 2040, it turns out that that level of per capita income we will achieve there was the level of per capita income when South Korea became an industrial or developed country. Nag-enter na siya yun. But of course, then with the pandemic, with the pandemic and the setback there, we probably lost 1 or 2 years.
Kasi rin ang pangako nyo.
So here, that's why consistency of the programs to administrations. Hindi lang dapat isang administration Kasi each administration is built on each other. And that's why I like our branch with our president when in assumed power, when he said that we must continue what has been started. So, especially this really intended to benefit society. Just speaking in particular about infrastructure. Yung mga nasimulan na ng infrastructure, kung talagang mapakinabangan naman, kahit pa na ginawa ng ibang kung sino-sino ng administration, ituloy yun. Kasi in the past, alam nyo natin ito, kapag ginawa ng kalaban, ito, kahit even it's a very useful good project. So dapat hindi ganon yung policy natin.
Sige, let's get back to the Maharlika Investment Fund. Merong question dito, gaano kahanda ang Pilipinas para sa Maharlika Investment Fund? Ilan sa mga mababatas ay tutol dito dahil wala naman daw surplus fund ng bansa? Parang yun ang umiikot yung questions about the Maharlika Investment Fund.
No, I think nag-evolve na yung concept of investment fund. It's not wealth fund that we're talking about. It's an investment fund. So that fund could be sourced, could be coming from otherwise hindi masyadong I would say either good enough and to the extent that you can move that fund to a place where it can possibly earn more without risking naman yung portfolio na. Well, dito sa bill na umasa sa House kaya they identified DBE and then back, plus the dividends of BSP. And I think 100% in the first year and then 50% in the subsequent year of the dividends. So, and other sources in the future that, pero ang concept doon is, if other entities will find the fund profitable and more attractive than alternative places where you can put their fund without risking the composition of their portfolio. Why not? So I think that's why for us the governance architecture of the fund is is set in place, properly set in place, so that it develops confidence in the investing community, not just from government, but even pension funds from somewhere could be, if they see that that is a good fund, but where they can put money, they will put money. We can use this for our development infrastructure.
Including with SSS, yes.
Right, that's for the boards to determine whether it's attractive for them to but I think there's something in the law that is that may prohibit how investment pensions. Again, it's the composition of the fund.
When we're at this, yung dating Deputy Governor ng Central Bank, sabi niya, the provision mandating the BSP to directly contribute its dividends to the MIL already violated the BSP's charter. What's your comment on this?
I'm not a lawyer, so I'm sure that all our Congress, our most of them are lawyers, and they should know what can design the infrastructure. Actually, the truth is that the dividends talaga is for BSP is for remittance to the national government. But it just so happen that malaking may utang si Central Bank, BSP na, Central Bank na. So, so 50% of that is to cover for that the payment, and the 50% goes to national treasury. It's up to the national government to determine kung saan may gustong gamitin yung fund, yung pumunta sa kanya.
Secretary and Evelyn Quiroz from Filipino Mirror. Secretary, there seems to be doubts as to the integrity and competency dun sa composition po ng board ng Maharlika Investment Fund. May we know kung how will the board will be selected? Ano po yung mga criteria? And who will appoint this board?
The current version of the House addresses that issue. There is stringent requirements who can be meron sa...
Secretary, is it true that yung board, yung parang nomination process will be under the GCG in compliance with the free and proper rule? May parang ganun po.
I'm not quite sure if I saw the process, but there are criteria that they put in there involving the integrity of people, competencies of people appointed to the board. But of course, the IRR, usually in laws like this, there will be an implementing rules and regulations that will provide the missing steps that clarify the provisions of the law.
Sir, last question lang po. Yung po sa investment, ano po, saan po pupunta yung domestic, foreign, or both po? Yung
broad. I mean, here, the whole philosophy of the fund is meron mga fund managers who will be looking at the various opportunities so that the fund will grow. But it's also in the current version of the House, it also talks about certain principles like prioritizing highly critical infrastructure projects that are economically viable and profitable. So, pwede na ilagay doon. And so, double pa yan. If the fund is able to provide the funding for much needed infrastructure, as we said, and we identified in the PDP, a high fund, high priority for us. Then the fund will have achieved its purpose. The fund is raised there and it is formed to create benefits, not only for this generation, but for future generation. Kaya the fund must grow and must be invested in places to make a difference for the lives of the Filipinos.
Good morning, Secretary. I am Camilo Meliendez of Media Force. A while ago, you were discussing the negative factor of our economy, and one is the high cost of energy. I understand that there are two wealth of the nations, no, of our nation. One is the human resource, and the other one is the natural resource. Along the line of natural resource, we have income from abroad by our OFWs, and internally from businessmen and workers alike. But we fail, in my observation, we fail to maximize on our natural resources. The Philippines is noted to be rich in natural resources. However, there is no established plan how to develop it. Unlike other countries like Brunei, who rely only on petroleum, Saudi Arabia, do we already have an inventory of our natural resources that could be exploited to the advantage of the country? Thank you, Bob.
I think I completely agree with you on that. DNR has an assessment of our resources, and particularly our mineral resources. And what struck me when I saw these numbers was that it's a very small proportion of our extractable mineral resources is so far extracted. And of course, we are aware of some environmental concerns, but mining is not necessarily always environmentally destructive. No? We have seen, for example, how Australia does it. For us, I've been to Melbourne, and you know the history of Melbourne. Melbourne was a mining town, right? But now it's one of the most livable cities in the world. And so you can have a plan, you can develop those resources, transform them into other forms of wealth, because wealth is all about it's about transformation. Initially, we have a lot of natural resources, then some of those resources are used for the development of other resources, particularly human resources, human capital, while maintaining the integrity of the environment. So maraming countries na ganon na experience. And I think that it's high time for us to revisit our policies on mining. I think that there are enormous potential for developments. Of course, the key word is responsible mining. We don't destroy, we don't mine at the expense of people, but ensure that you develop more wealth out of the wealth that you created, and that should be the principle. And of course, I've been saying yan, magandang sources of the Maharlika Investment Fund, that we can harness part of those royalties for that fund. Then we can we should have more than 5% royalty. Kaya lang, lately, I saw the numbers when I was looking at the numbers, ganito, there are more possibilities, more potentials. So there are current bills, there is a high priority bill that we filed about this how you can maximize or optimize the benefits from mining through proper taxation.
Nabanggit ko kayo yung source ng product. Sovereign Wealth Fund o Maharlika. Totoo ba na between Land Bank and Development Bank of the Philippines dahil meron tayong agri-modernization o X percentage yung kanilang loan amount ay dapat exclusively for agriculture? Ay dahil walang nakukutang at walang pinautang masyadong Land Bank at DBP na agri-endeavor, nakaipon na ba ito totoo ng 700 billion?
Unharnessed. Meron tayong agree-agralong. Yeah, law. That sets the percentage of the loan amount for agriculture. I don't think I don't know exactly the numbers, no, but I really don't think, and I think that the milestone that obviously any bank, whether it's government or private, would have to diversify the risk. So that the risk is spread out.
Every resources is the boss.
Yeah, because they have every government agency produces this annual
Human resource.
assets. So I think that's not the issue.
So, Secretary, nasa Senate na yung draft proposed bill ng Maharlika. How long will it take for the legislative bill to approve this? And when do we start seeing the benefits from the Maharlika Fund? Is it possible to project kung ano yung period ng
Of course,
magkano yung mga tao?
of course, our Congress is a independent institution, so the Senate will exercise its own prerogative, and they will get, I'm sure they will do part of including the Maharlika Investment Fund will have some interest architecture to ensure that sustainability, transparency, good governance, and principles. So, but I can't really say when.
Realistically, kung kailan benefit ang
But once it's in there, I think then, once that the fund has been created, the mechanisms for its use have been defined. Because as I said, once the law is passed, then we have to generate implementing rules and regulations. Then have to set it up. So it may take a while. So give them one year.
At the very least.
After the passage. That's the kind of exercise or experience we had when Congress passed the Philippine Competition Commission, and we started from scratch, from nothing. No people, no one answer. It took us a while to I asked for a year to build up, and I think after a year we said,
Question mo. Secretary, can you tell us more about the whole of government approach in the PDB implementation mo? The President earlier said that development plan will steer all government agencies and instrumentalities in the same direction. How will this go?
That's one of the lessons of development that we have seen. When government agencies do not coordinate, do not get their acts together, nothing will move. Each one of them is just cancelling the effect. A good example is say yung target natin ng poverty reduction or just employment regulation. How many agencies are involved in that process? Dami, right? Some will be involved in regulation, giving the permit. Some will be involved in developing the infrastructure. Some will be involved in the marketing, some in the trade, and so on. No? Daming causes yan. But if one of them is not doing the job, then the whole system collapses. Let me give you an example. We have many of these. We know that food prices, particularly staple prices, are very critical, so crucial to poverty reduction. This is because, especially for the poor, we spend a big part of their income on food. So kung mag-increase ng price ng food, ang laki ng impact sa welfare nila, no? Welfare nila. Now, so the policy obviously is to ensure that prices do not are stable, no? That they do not rise sharply or fall sharply. Kasi if it falls sharply, it affects naman the farmers, no? It increases sharply, it adversely affects consumers, particularly the poor. So the objective of food security is ensuring that those price movements are relatively stable, no? Hindi very abrupt. Now, so when one agency says, okay, let us not import for one reason or another, even if there is already a shortage, what will happen? Obviously, prices will rise, no? Right? Prices will rise. So while other agencies are trying to help the poor, the one agency is prevented the imports from coming in, leading to high prices of food, then the whole program just collapsed. So that's why coordination among agencies, making sure that they are really walking along the same path, it is so essential. And I cannot overemphasize that. It's a balancing act, and you really know how to what your goals are, and find ways of helping those who are, for example, sinasabi na, kasi kung if prices rise sharply, ang mabe-benefit naman doon is poor, the farmers. True, right? True. Pero ang lagi naman ng sinakripisyo mo.
Consumers.
20% of the population are not going to be poorer. So the question for policymakers, how can we help farmers in other ways na hindi yung gagamitin yung instrument that badly affect the other groups? That's what a good planning is all about. Because you need to find out what really matters for farmers' profitability. Then it's about the technologies that they have. It's about their access to finance, about the cost of the inputs, about the marketing chain. So if you can solve those ones, then everybody will be happy.
Pala po lang ito, may magtanong ko nagbubukas sa maraming issue. Ano ba ang nasa isip ng gobyerno? Ang agricultural ba is equivalent to farmers? O pwedeng may as in agri-businessmen? Para mas efficient ang ating agrikultura?
When I was teaching agricultural economics at UP, my favorite example is, question is, if you succeed in agricultural development, a typical farming family will depend less on agricultural income. So if you succeed in agricultural development, a typical household will depend, a farm household will depend less on agricultural income because the members of the children of that household will not be able to send their kids to school, and these kids will acquire skills and they will get jobs elsewhere, and diversification in rural areas take place. So hindi na lang agriculture o farming ang magiging sources ng income.
Ay, baka ma-hot water gate yan. So ang success ng agriculture pag nabawasan ng farmers.
Of course, that's what development is all about. When you're a poor country, very poor country in Africa, even when you look at us in 1950s, more than 50% of our labor force are in agriculture. Now, a rich country like the US, who started as agriculture, or the Australia that started agriculture, 2% na lang of the labor force. Then that's what the whole business of economic transformation is all about.
Sige sir, may kausap tayong topic dyan. I-reverse ba natin yung agrarian reform program na biniyak-biyak sa maliit na parsela ng lupa? Ngayon nawala yung economy of scale.
No, I think that we have to move on. You know, we have that was implemented. The agrarian reform was implemented in the 1970s, right? We started with prices corn, and then 87. The agrarian reform program then was addressing a different set of problems. Things have changed so much. Globalization has taken place, the markets have been so integrated, and yet we have lost our flexibility in farming. Because of that restriction, we are not able to optimize the technologies that have become available with modernization, and so on. So, hindi ko na-exploit yung scale economics. But even then, kung na-complete, ang problema lang kasi sa agrarian reform natin, hindi na kumpleto hindi na, hindi. Alam, those are in what they call CLOAS, yung collective titles, that we are never really divided, and how the title is transferred to the farmer. Because if the title was transferred to the farmer, then the farmer will can decide whether he will lease it to a better farmer, or so mga ganon issues.
We have time siguro for last two questions.
Sen, balikan ko lang po ulit yung Maharlika Fund. Have the economic managers computed yung annual expected return? Tama po ba yung sinabi ni Justice starting na 7 to 8% and is this enough to make an impact?
I haven't seen that exercise, but obviously the policy naman is you don't invest those funds into returns. Otherwise, you lose your purpose. The reason you want to take the funds, you want to exploit opportunities that are otherwise not available. And so you should have, by proper restructuring of your portfolio, you should be able to have higher average than what you would get otherwise in the existing arrangements. Yan ang ano yan. So, if the current earnings is only 5%, siguro naman, it's appropriate na you ask for more than 5%.
Tama, sir, 7 to 8%.
No, I haven't seen the basis for that or the computation, process computation.
So, itong phone question lang. Sign daw po ba na gumaganda na ang ekonomiya dahil matindi na yung traffic ngayon? Tapos, maaabot ba natin, sir, yung forecast ng Asian Development Bank na 7.4%?
I think 7.4% annual. Is it an annual for quarterly?
Annual.
Definitely for this year, we will likely exceed the 7%. Our target is 6.5 to 7.5 for this year, but I think the current figures indicate that we will likely exceed 7%. For next year, I said 67%. Now, I think that's you have usually growth, economic growth, usually generates that kind of secondary problems. Not secondary, but second stage. Because when people have more money, they can now buy more vehicles, they can afford vehicles, and so the trick is you must have to grow your infrastructure faster than the rate of growth of those vehicles. But more importantly, in successful economies, what they prioritize on and what we must prioritize on is yung mass transit. Mass transit. So that's why the President has made it in SONA, that he announced SONA that he will prioritize on railways. And that's why we are continuing the development of these railways, going to the north, going to the south, all the way to Bicol, and developing railways in Mindanao, in Visayas. So yan. Of course, we need more highways, roads, particularly those connecting the lagging regions to the leading areas ng country. Kasi yan ang problema natin sa Metro Manila talaga naman is nagka-concentrate ka sa Manila because we never develop the infrastructure that will link the country around that metropolis to other potential growth areas. No? So that will be also our priorities, developing more strategic centers of commerce, not just Metro Manila, many other places around the country.
Sige, last question.
Good morning po, Secretary, sa kasalat ng panel. Jimmy Mendoza po ng Balisacan sa Radio. Sir, gusto ko lang parating sa inyo dahil doon sa alam ng New Zealand, sa mga nurse. Sinasabi rito, kinababahala ngayon ng Philippine Nurses Association na maaaring maapektuhan ang operasyon ng mga pribadong ospital at hospital ng government sa bansa sa posibleng pagkagat ng mga nurse sa alok ng permanent residency ng New Zealand. Ito ba'y makakatulong sa ekonomi natin o pwedeng posibleng bumagsak? Kasi sinasabi nila rito, next year na posibleng mawalan o paglipatan na itong mga workers natin dito sa New Zealand, lalo-lalo na nagtatrabaho sa ospital ng gobyerno.
We hate to see people losing their jobs wherever they are, especially they see those jobs as the preferred ones. No? So, ang ano natin, ang policy natin talaga is we create quality jobs so that migration is no longer a force but an option. Just an option. So yan, kung mapepesan mawala ng trabaho, it's sad and we must do something about it to ease the pain, to help them. But then, my position, and perhaps shared by my colleagues, that our President has stated that we must generate the jobs here, and we must focus on generating quality jobs so that decent wages, decent earnings are in place, and so migration will not be a forced thing for our workers. So, dito, sandali ba, may shortage tayo of medical professionals, including nurses. And because ang taas ng demand ng mga workers natin, sa Canada, US, it's a major issue for us. But then again, our response should be that we respond by the supply side. You cannot take up our workers really to define it in their interest to move elsewhere. I mean, you should not stop that from happening. That's their choice. What we can do is to create an environment so that it is not a forced thing, that they are forced to migrate because they cannot see a good future in our country. Ipinatatrabaho natin dito sa PDP at sa doon sa ambition natin 2040. So,
ano ko lang na context yung tanong niya kasi yung daily doctrine, pinagbawalan ni Dapo Secretary ng nurses na lumabas. 2021. Kasi wala na nurses. Ang sinasabi niyo ngayon, hindi niyo gusto hintihilan kung gusto magsipag-abroad ng nurses. After all, 600,000 na-graduate natin nurses na hindi nagtatrabaho as nurses ngayon sa Pilipinas.
To address the major issue, the constraint. Bakit sila lumalabas? Kasi wala, hindi lang nurses. Yung mga engineers natin, bakit lumalabas natin mga engineers natin?
Sahod.
It's not enough. It also is, of course, in the short term, it's good, we get a lot of money, remittances, no? But, as I said,
Pero as a policy, hindi niyo pipigilan ito, naglabas.
if that's a long-term solution, it should not.
It is not a long-term solution. Tanong ko po, as a policy, hindi niyo gagawin na pigilan na magsipag-abroad yung nurses and other professionals.
The President has mentioned it many times that migration should be just enforced. So, I'm not sure that, quest, pero sa kang mag-migrate, so you see it, then see it, and then maybe see good opportunities.
No salary.
And that's why the response is develop our economy, develop our labor market so that we can generate opportunities. And then, if they still want to migrate, that's we should have meditate.
Okay.
Last question.
Isa na lang.
Ito ang second to the last question. Last na.
Saan yun? Right. Ayan. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Tanjan De Leon po. I used to be with bureaucracy. Nung kabataan ko, DAR, galing ako sa BBM, galing ako sa MMDA, and lastly sa FIGAL. I retired in 2015. May mga karanasan po din ako mula sa baba hanggang sa nakakat ng konti sa third level of government officials. So, maganda po yung mga plano natin. In fact, mula sa mga, ang problema na nakikita ko ngayon yung details. Nung nandun ako sa DBM, ang pinag-uusapan ko, nung nag-uusap yung NEDA at sa DBM, yung mga tasas ko, sinasabi nila, a budget is a plan translated in financial terms. Of course, mahalaga yung ugnayan po niya siguro. Pero sa akin po ngayon, ang aking concern ay ito. Sino po ang mag-i-implement niyan? Do we have a potent and able and skilled human resource to implement all this? Have we harmonized the educational system relative to the needs of our country in the future? Kasi sa pagkaintindi ko lahat ng mga planong yan, sino magpagawa? Hindi po ba? Ang nais ko po sana dito ay ang nakikita ko po dito baka pwede nyo i-consider sa cabinet meeting. Ano ang ginagawa natin sa pag-unlad ng mga kabataan mula sa grade 1 hanggang sila ay maging professional at ano naman ang gagawin ng Department of Labor and Management pagdating naman Department of Labor and Employment pagdating naman doon sa availability ng employment. Because I understand that in other countries like Canada, pati yung university nila, nagbabago yung mga courses in relation to the need. Baka po, may improve natin yan. Sa tingin ko lahat ng pinag-uusapan natin dito, and that's my bias, lahat ng mga ito kapag wala tayong potent and skilled human resource, baka mayroon tayong problemahin in the future. So I think baka naman pwedeng pag-usapan yung development of the human resource, yung family planning program.
Sige pa, sabi pa si...
Yung nga po, wala naman po ito. Sinasabi ko lang yung observation ko po, galing po sa baba at taga-baryo po ako bago ako pumunta sa probinsya. Ay dito sa Manila.
Yeah, no, thank you for that observation. But I think that when we upload online yung plan, please look at it because there's a substantial fourth section of that plan devoted on human resource development and how harmonizing ng what industry needs and what our educational system produces. Tama yung sinasabi niyo. And that's a big extensive discussion among us there.
Yes, of course.
With President, Vice President Sara, achieving that kind of harmonization. And with respect to BBM ng budget, we have been talking with Anina, with Secretary BBM, to ensure that what we have indicated in the plan are properly linked doon sa budget. So, ang project namin ngayon is kung ano yung tinatag yung mga projects, programs dito sa plan, imamatch doon sa BBM para makita kung nagtutugma yung the priorities that I have identified in the plan with what actually or how the government resources are spent. Kung hindi, dalhin namin yung information na yan sa Congress next time for improvement in the budgeting system.
So, isa pa sir, yung Civil Service Commission, baka kailangan i-review yung role niya.
Sobrang pundami ng civil servant sa Pilipinas.
I think yung whole of society approach will answer yung question na.
Hindi kaya sagutin ng 4 na taong kurso.
Anyway, on that note, we'd like to end this discussion.
It should be included in the long-term plan.
We'd like to thank Secretary Balisacan for coming over and sharing his thoughts on the economic situation in the country today. And sana we'll have more chances to discuss economic issues later on. Thank you very much, Secretary.
Can I just say, I just really want to thank you for inviting me. I was telling Kirk that this is the first time I've been doing this work. Even during my first term in the cabinet, 2012 to 2015, I don't recall having invited me. So I'm very, very thankful that you invited me. And I will look forward to continuing the dialogue.
So we'll invite you next year siguro.
Alam nga ko namin, stop kayo nun eh. Pero hindi pala, totoo nga pala.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Siguro, some of them might want to have one-on-one interview with you.
Yung problema natin. Kasi, i-discuss natin sa yung natural resources. Discourage. Traffic matters mostly out there without being touched by person. But who will touch that? People. Nandun na yan. Problema ng tao, hindi mo masabi siya gagalaw niya kung wala siyang skill. Pero mahalaga na siya kasi yung skill nito. Hindi ba alam yung skill, kasi yung attitude niya. Tama. Kaya nagpapagsan yung develop natin.
Dalayan ka lang.